guys, welcome back to my channel, and today I will be talking about my supernatural experience for the Sunday. So the first photo op I had on Sunday wasn't until 5 o'clock because I didn't have a Jensen or a Jared solo photo op because I'm poor and I wasn't planning on buying one. Plus Jensen sold out anyways and I didn't want to pay $200 for a Jared one because he didn't sell out and he was available at the convention, which is kind of surprising because I've never seen that happen before. I'll just skip right up until 5 because literally nothing happened. There was the J2 panel and, well, actually I lied. Something did happen. I don't have it with me, but it's my hat, my Loud and Swain hat, and I got it signed at 11:10. I didn't really have a conversation with any of them. I just said like, hi, we exchanged hellos and how are yous, and that was basically it for majority of them. I talked to Rob the most out of all of them, which is weird because last time I talked to Michael more, I think. Michael or Billy I talked more to last year. The first photo op that day was Misha Leckie, and that was going to be my first time seeing Jared up close, like that weekend, because I didn't have his solo photo ops. We had our pose picked out for them. When I walked up to him, the volunteer showed them our pose, so he already knew what we were doing, and to be honest, I don't remember if he said anything before the photo, but he grabbed my face and went right in, and he was so close. So basically in this photo, I'll post it somewhere on the screen, probably in the middle of the screen because the program I use doesn't allow me to move it to the side, so yeah. But this is how it turned out. And I actually was not breathing during this photo op because he was so close to my face and eye contact. And right after that was taken, he pulled me in for a hug. It wasn't rushed at all. Right after that, I actually forgot about it almost until I looked at the schedule and was like, oh crap, I have one of those. I had a Rob Benedict solo op next, and I didn't have a pose picked because this one I was not planning on getting at all because I wanted a rich one, and I was only planning on getting an autograph from Rob, which was the Loud and Swain one, because I didn't want to spend that much money this time. But anyways, I ended up buying one, and as I walked up to him, I was like, oh, can you possibly pick our pose? And at first he was like, oh, well, why don't we do the hugging pose? Have we done that already? Because he's like, I'm a hugging type of person. I told him yes, because I got one at the Toronto convention. So then he was like, how about the tango? Because I like doing the tango. So I agreed to that, and this is how it turned out. I love this one because I love Rob, and he makes literally strong eye contact, like he's looking into your soul, and it kills me, but I love it. And yeah, I actually missed him the most at the convention when I thought I would be missing Jensen or Jared the most, like last year. Because when I went to the Toronto convention, I was missing Jensen the most. And then closely behind that is Jared because of the conversations I've had with him during autographs. Right after Rob, I had Richard. I walked up to him, and obviously I didn't have a pose picked because I'm wasn't planning. It was just last minute, and this one, I wasn't planning on getting it. I was planning on getting a Richard autograph instead of a photo op because I was going to give it to my cousin. But then I was like, I need to meet Richard. So I got one, and I asked him to pick a pose, and he picked the tango also. You can tell they're best friends. But yeah, so it turned out like that, and Chris noticed a glare on my glasses. So I got redirected into line, and the volunteer was like, oh, Chris wants you to do a retake because of the glare, and he wants you to do it without your glasses. I don't usually take my glasses off because I don't like my glasses off. I don't like it, so the only person who has seen me that's not family with my glasses off was Richard, and I can't. And our hands are laced together, and literally his hand is here, mine is here, and mine is just shaking, trying to do it, and it was such a struggle. I'm surprised he didn't laugh at me. It happened twice because of the retake, so yeah, I was shaking really bad. But right after that one, I had a lineup for Castiel. Castiel one, I was like, before I bought it, I was like, should I buy it? Should I not? Because I'm getting a Misha solo op, so I don't really want to buy the Castiel photo op if I'm getting the Misha one, because it's the same person. But I went in and I bought the Castiel one also with the solo one. I walked up to Cass. I read that he was supposed to be in character and he's not supposed to be getting out of character, but it's Misha, so it's Misha. I walked up to him and we made a couple like eye contact moments in line before it was my turn, and it happened actually a few times during that weekend after I met him the first time. It was actually like, I don't know whether to be intimidated or whether to be like, okay. As I walked up to him, he remembered me from the last autographs and photo op. I had one autograph. I don't know why I said autographs. But I was like, can you pick the pose? And he kind of just looks at me and then he sighs like a heavy sigh. And then he extends his arms and is like, you've had all this time to think of a pose and you didn't think of one? And I just look at him and I'm like, I couldn't think of one, which is why I'm asking you to pick one, because I couldn't physically think of one. So he didn't say anything and he put his arm around my shoulder and then he kind of bent down, and at first I thought he was doing the dipping pose again for some reason because of the way he moved, because he moved this exact same way. So I kind of like put my hand on his shoulder and then he like looks at me and he's like, no, because the music was loud. So I was like, what are you doing? And he either ignored me, which I'm going with that option because it's Misha, or he didn't hear me and I know he heard me, so I'm going with the first option. And he kind of just picked me up and I wrapped my arm around him because I was like, what the hell are you doing? This pose is not allowed and you're doing it. Misha is the king of breaking rules, so I wasn't too shocked that he did, but it turned out great and he picked me up. Like, he actually picked me up. And the look on his face says everything. Right after the picture was taken, I looked at Chris and he kind of like smiled and then gave me a thumbs up, so indicating that it was good and it came out. And then as he was setting me down, I looked up at Misha and I was saying thank you, but I couldn't get any words out. And he looked at me and he gave me this big smirk and oh my god, yeah, I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna leave before I say anything else. But as I was walking, all the volunteers were like lined up on the wall and one of them looked at me and they were all smiling, and then one of them yelled out to me, it was good, and gave me like a thumbs up, so that was great. So after that, all I had were autographs. First autograph I had was Jensen, because I was buying it from Gold Passes and Jensen's line was called first for me, and I can't show you the picture right now because I don't want to bend it because it has Misha's autograph on it too. So I'm gonna talk about Jared's first because Jared was right after Jensen. I walked up to Jared when it was my turn and he was finishing off talking with the guy in front of me. He looked at me and he's like, hi, and like this big smile, and the volunteer like slid over the picture that I was getting signed, and he asked me if I was having fun that weekend, and I answered yes because it was a lot of fun. So this is the autograph. I didn't pick the picture because I forgot all about the pictures and I had to grab the girl who is managing the autograph picture table, and I had to grab one of these from her. After that, he winked at me. I don't remember exactly what was said after, but I know we like exchanged goodbyes and he winked at me, and then right after he winked at me, he blew me a kiss, and I was like, boy, really? I had no words like I do now, and I died. Misha was still doing his Castiel photo op, so we were waiting for him to get into the theater, and I had to meet up with the girl who was giving me the Misha autograph because I was buying it from her pass. And her pass was with a girl who was buying the Jensen autographs. And Misha, at that time, Misha was in the ballroom and he was signing. As I'm waiting for her to get the lanyard, I was hearing like, oh, last call for Misha, last call for Misha. So I was literally so anxious because I didn't want to miss his autograph like last time, because in Toronto I missed his autograph. This volunteer came up to me and was like, oh, are you the girl who's buying the Misha autograph from that girl? And I was like, yeah, I am. So I followed her to the front where Misha was signing, and the girl kind of like ran and she had the pass, so she threw it at me and I put it on and I immediately got in line. So I was like technically the last person. So the volunteer slid it over to Misha. It was this picture I'm going to show you in a second. It's the picture of Cowboy, Dean, and Cass from that episode in season 13. I think it's 13. But anyways, he looks up and he sees me and he's like, oh, hi again. And then I thought he was gonna start like signing, and then yeah, but he just kind of leaned back in his chair and he didn't touch it at all, and he was just looking at me. So I was kind of distracted by the girl talking really loudly beside me. I don't remember what they were talking about, but she was like talking, so I kind of kept like looking over. But yeah, so he was just staring at me, and I'm like, what do I do? Like, do I say hi again? And I'm like, we literally just exchanged highs, and he's just staring at me with his like arms crossed, and he wasn't signing my picture. So he looks at me again, and he's like, hi, and I'm like, we literally just went through this. But anyways, we exchanged highs again, and then he still didn't sign, and he asked about the Castiel photo op that we did, and then he asked, did it turn out okay? And I didn't have the picture with me because I didn't pick it up yet, so I had to tell him that I haven't seen it yet, and I haven't seen it yet. But then he looked down at the picture and like examined it, and he had a smile on his face, and then he started signing, and I was like, and I pulled out my dipping pose picture, because since the autograph from Saturday, I wanted to show him the dipping pose because he asked about it and I didn't show it to him because I wasn't going to get it signed, but I'm like, I want him to see it anyways. So I was like, but like the pose we did yesterday turned out really good because he also apologized for it, which is why I wanted to show him that it turned out okay. And he looked at it and he smiled and he said that it came out great, like it was good. And he signed the picture. And then after that, since there was only one person behind me and we weren't rushed at all, so I kind of just asked him, since he was the last person I was meeting at the convention, if I could hug him before I leave, because my bus was leaving like 3 hours later to go back to Toronto. He nodded his head and said yes, and then he stood up and I walked to the side of the table and I kind of like wrapped my arms around his neck, and yeah. Then when we were hugging, I said thank you into his ear, and then he literally did the exact same thing to me, and I almost started crying. I was like, oh my god, that happened. He said it so genuine and like for only us to hear, and it was just, I loved it. It was the best way to end a convention, and it was way better than Toronto. Like, that Toronto convention, I missed his autograph, so it was a great way to end this convention and make up for what happened in Toronto. But that happened, and then after that, we said our goodbyes, and I picked up my picture from the table, and I walked away, and I met up with my friends, and we went out for dinner, but then we decided to just go back to the hotel room. I just stayed there until my bus was going to leave. And then there's the whole bus home, and that was the convention. I literally, as soon as I got home, I broke down crying, because I held myself together and I didn't cry for the whole convention. And then as soon as I got home, all of it hit me, and like the Misha conversation and meeting Jensen, it just all hit me and I just cried. I had college that day on the Monday after the convention, but I couldn't go because I was not emotionally ready to go. And I was going to go, but then I was like, no, I'm gonna cry again. So I didn't go. But that was my experience at the convention. It was one that I will remember and a lot of great memories. I was gonna post the Saturday night concert videos in with the Saturday vlog or experience video, but I decided the video that I ended it on the Saturday, which was, I think it was Pop-Tart Heart. I think that song is called. The ending of it was nice because Rob made the audience that was there sing while he did another part of the song. And I just found that really beautiful and a great way to end that video. I then put the SNS concert videos into a separate video. So I'm gonna do that. The next convention for me won't be until the next Supernatural convention for me won't be until next year, October, I think. But the next convention I will be going to, unless the Walking Dead convention comes here before August, which I'm doubting it, is Fan Expo. And I'm only going to that if they have people that I like there. Like, they usually get The Walking Dead. Some of the cast members usually go there, because last year I met Norman Reedus. Or if they announce one of the smaller Supernatural cast members, because I know Mark Shepard has been doing conventions. He's doing one in Montreal in July, I believe. So I'm hoping he comes to Toronto so I can meet him, since he wasn't at the convention this year because he's not doing creation stuff anymore. And yeah, so I'll probably either vlog there or do an experience video for it. That's it for today's video. My voice just cracked. Hopefully the camera didn't catch that. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and I'm hoping when I reach 100 subscribers that I'm going to actually start saving up for a decent camera that has like a flip screen so you can see yourself recording. I've been having an interest for vlogging, and I find it hard vlogging with a camera when you can't see yourself, so you could literally be like off the screen and you wouldn't know until you rewatch what you filmed. So I wanted to save up for a camera with a flip screen so I can see myself filming while I'm filming. I'm giving myself a goal that when I reach 100, maybe even 50 subscribers, that I'm gonna save up for an actual camera, because I don't really like using my phone and I want a professional camera to use. That's it for today's video. If you like it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, you can comment below if you were at the same convention or if you're going to a convention this year, or if you have any questions about conventions. I'll be happy to answer them. And I will see you guys next video. Bye! One last thing I forgot, because I didn't pick up that photo op at the convention because I forgot about it, and Chris emailed me the JPEGs for it for free, because it was either get the JPEGs right now or wait for him to mail it, which would take longer. So I picked the JPEGs, and I got a Jensen and Misha photo op. I completely forgot about that one, so I'm just gonna add it in here. The picture will be somewhere on the screen, and basically I walked up to them. Jensen was closest to me, so I had to talk to Jensen, and I just asked for a big group hug. I didn't talk to Misha, I didn't look at him, I didn't do anything, but I know he recognized me. I went to hug Jensen, and we weren't really like actually hugging yet, and Misha just kind of pushed me into Jensen and just squeezed me, which made me fall into Jensen, and then which made Jensen push me into Misha and then squeeze harder, and I literally could not breathe during the photo op. They both killed me, and it's all because of Misha, so thank you, Misha, for killing me. And then right after the picture, I turned and looked at Misha, and he kind of like smirked at me. I just walked away. I was like, I can't deal with you anymore. That was my experience with Jensen and Misha, and I'll be getting one of those in Toronto too, because I love them both. That's what happened. Bye.